Hello. Welcome back to my channel. It is super gloomy and cold and overcast outside, but I found what I think is halfway decent lighting for once, so I'm capitalizing on it. So I wanted to film a video that I get asked about like a lot in my Instagram DMs specifically. I'm very, very grateful for every single one of you, and I don't want you to ever think I'm not. One of the things that I am like probably the most proud of in my professional life is how long some of y'all have followed me and like through every iteration of my presence on like social media. And then also just like how friendly we are with each other. You know what I mean? Like I love that so much. So I've had a lot of questions about how do I feel productive but yet like calm. So I think a lot of us struggle with varying degrees of anxiety and just like this constant need to like be doing something. So it's like it manifests in like FOMO or in I need to be multitasking, but the problem with that is you're never actually doing something correctly or fully or anything like that. Or you're distracted when you should be spending time with your friends and family or whatever you're supposed to be doing, right? And so you just kind of are constantly drained and you never feel adequate, or there's like a ton of directions you could take this in. But I get asked about this pretty frequently and I struggled with it forever. Like I don't think I have anxiety. I think I have a very common thing that a lot of us millennial women struggle with, which is, you know, I'm reading this book right now and the girl nails it. She talks about we didn't have like what we were taught was traumatic childhoods. Like we were fed, you know, our parents told us they loved us. You know what I mean? But you were nurtured. And that sounds so mean to your parents, but like if you take into account that like my parents were boomers, my parents did the best they could with the information at hand, but they didn't have the internet, they didn't have groups, they didn't have any kind of social circles. There's a ton of judgment about anything. My sister passed away before I was born. So like, you know what I mean? Like there's a ton of shit you can unpack about my parents. So this isn't me blaming them at all. There is a lot of stuff that now that I'm in my 30s, I finally feel like I can unpack. Just because in your 20s, you're in your 20s, you're doing stuff that you're on track, but at the same time, like that sage piece of advice of in your 30s, you stop caring about what other people think. That's so true. And something I've been really working on lately is just feeling okay with how I spend my time and feeling okay and fulfilled with what I've done that day. And I am so somebody who will pack 4 million things into one day and operate at this breakneck pace. And I have done it my entire life. And I can get into the psychology of that, but I don't really want to because that's kind of personal. And my mom watches my channel and I don't really want to deal with that. So like, you know what I mean? But anyway, so it's something that I am very mindful of, and I take a lot of initiative to remedy that. You know what I mean? And everybody's a journey, everybody's a work in progress. So this is by no means like the final draft of anything. I think every person is kind of perpetually on a journey, right? If you're not growing, you're regressing. But definitely think that my age group, for the record, I'm 35. If you're new to my channel, I'm 35. I think a lot of us, you know, millennials, kind of late Gen X's, and younger, I think the trend with our psychology, specifically like women psychology, is toxic positivity. Like we are so conditioned to, like I see it constantly. I own my company, right? So I'm a female entrepreneur, business owner, whatever you want to call it. But because of that, I get marketed to because you know, I'm a boss babe. But the problem is all of my terminology for what I do, coach, professional, like literally I call myself an education professional because coach has been bastardized by MLMs. And toxic positivity, I find, is a really weaponized form of manipulation with that. And that's a whole other thing. But I think we all struggle with like strains of it. You know what I mean? So I've been thinking about this a lot in the last 6 months to a year. And just how do I like kind of undo a lot of that damage of just, you know, hustle harder or get it done or no excuses, or what is that stupid ass one I heard the other day? Success isn't earned, it's rented, and rent is due every day. And I was like, holy shit, that's super destructive. Like if you're having a bad day or if you have depression or any kind of mental health issue, like that is not something you need to hear frequently. Because it's that no days off mentality. And as somebody that took no days off for over 10 years, I have back problems. I have severe back problems because of that. So I really don't have any kind of tolerance for people that are like, well, if you want it, you'll work for it. Bitch, pump the brakes. I have phone notes, so pardon me. I wanted to do a video about like just some tips, some healthy advice, take it or leave it. You know, like it's not gospel, but things that have helped me feel productive in like a 360 kind of way, like all of my life. Not just work, not just household, not just self-care, braid it all together. So I wanted to give y'all some of my tips, and maybe they'll help you. If not, it's cool, but maybe they'll get your wheels spinning. You know what I mean? It's your life. Make the best of it. These are not in any like categorical order. So if I feel like if it sounds like I'm jumping, I am. So the first thing I would tell you to do, track your water. You don't have to like physically track it unless you are somebody that needs to physically track it, then do that. You could be somebody that needs like a liter bottle that crushes 3 of them a day, whatever works for you. But if you're properly hydrated, it's such a little thing that makes such a big difference, and there's a reason why we all talk about it. But honestly, I will literally at dinner time, I'd say like half the time I have a glass of wine. It really just depends. Sometimes I don't drink at all. Sometimes I do, you know what I mean? Like whatever. But I definitely, before I pour a glass of wine, I'll mentally tally how much how much water I've had that day. And if I've had less than 72 ounces, I won't have it. Part of that is because I have had a migraine in the last 2 months, that lasted for like 4 days, and that sucked. So I don't really want to deal with that. But the other part of it is, it's like a little kind of, it's not like an incentive, but it's like a little indicator of like, I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? Like I need to be hydrated enough to where I can have a glass of wine and not feel weird after. And then I won't have 2 unless I've had at least, I'd say like 80 to 100 ounces of water, if that makes sense. But again, modify this to suit your needs and your lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. Something else I would say to you, do at least 3 things every single day that make you feel really good. So whatever it is that makes you happy, and I mean little things, do them every day. So for me, I'll tell you straight up, candles. Lighting my candles, making my house smell good. I've talked about this before. Scent is a huge driver for me. It makes a massive difference in my day, in my mood. I think especially as I get older, my environment is a major influence on me, and scent is a huge factor in that. So I definitely prioritize that. I also kind of like a little bit of a ritual about like putzing around my house and turn it and lighten everything, or you know, I have little fake candles right here. I flip the thing. I just like that. I like the little putts, you know. It can be baking, it can be cooking, it can be cleaning, it could be like doing your dishes, unloading your dishwasher, a load of laundry, like a pot of tea. Like, it doesn't have to be a chore, but just, it's these little, and I think the point I'm trying to drive home is it's like a little form of self-care without being something that has to be a huge time suck, if that makes sense. Because I understand, like, we all have days where we just feel like I have 30 hours of shit to do in 24, you know, and at some point I'd like to sleep. So it's just 3 things that you can look back on when you go to bed and go, okay, you know, I did take care of myself in that little way. That is really important. And I think especially as women, we are so quick to let those things go. And the problem with that is, it's like, I get it, you know, 1 or 2 days is one thing, but like if you let that go for too long, it tends to erode who you are as a person, you know, because it's such a little thing, it shouldn't be a big deal. So when you let go of those little things, they accumulate over time and it erodes who you are. Joe Rogan's got this bit about being the only guy in a house full of girls. And it's like he's like, my manhood is this mountain of marbles and every day they take 2, you know, and over time those 2 add up. So it's sort of like that. But yeah, anyway, so I would say make just 3 little things every day, just every day. And literally what I find is, like, I'll look around my house, like I'll just walk to the bathroom or something, and I'll scan and I'll see those things. Like, I'll see my lit candles, or I'll see my clean kitchen, or I'll see, you know, I don't have anything in the washing machine, because, you know what I mean? Like, anything like that. My wine is stocked. Just those little things, and it just makes you feel on the ball, but it's not stressful. It shouldn't be something, it shouldn't equate to pressure, if that makes sense. If it does, it's too big. You know what I mean? Like, that should be like a big to-do that day. Baking, anything that just satisfies your soul in some way. That's one of those 3 things. Another one that's a huge one, move your body, but don't punish it. I don't know about you, that is a huge one. That is one I'm still learning. I have learned, I mean, it is such a simple concept, but God, it is so hard to actually, like, do. I have always been somebody who exercise is grueling. It should be exhausting. You should have these like huge numbers and output and caloric, you know, whatever it is. It's not about just overall movement. Never has been. So I still totally struggle with it. So something that I definitely am mindful of is move your body. You know what I mean? If it feels good, do it. Like I have a Peloton, so I spin a lot, and because I have a Peloton, I have the Peloton app, and then with that comes like a whole suite of other things. So they have bar. It's like a newer thing they offer. So I've been doing that, and the blend of the different things has actually been really helpful. And it's also nice because like not every day I'm in the mood to do one or the other, so I have options. And whatever that is for you. So if it's yoga, if it's running, if it's whatever, do it, but do it in a way that like not every day you're running a marathon, you know what I mean, or half or whatever. It's just like, it's about conditioning and longevity, and not about, you know, punishing yourself for having pizza. To piggyback off of that, a huge one, and this, just in case you haven't picked up on this yet, this is all stuff that I've learned probably the hard way, because I am a finger in the light socket kind of learner. Health isn't exclusively exercise. So take care of yourself. Jeremy says this to me a lot. You are a finite resource. You need to look at your overall health, and physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, whichever direction you want to go in. Take care of yourself. So whatever it is that you need to do, do that. It's so important, and I think it's also something that we just don't spend enough time actually sorting out. Like, there's this huge industry for self-care, but if face masks and baths aren't what you need, no amount of face masks and baths will help you. So for me, I really need a bath a lot because I have back problems, but I also need other things. So that is completely your thing. That's completely your decision, and you need to figure out what it is. And that can evolve. Like, what you need now may not be what you needed 5 years ago, and may not be what you need in another year. So who knows? But taking the time to take care of yourself, never feel, I mean, I say this, and I say this as somebody who struggles with feeling guilty for that. Don't feel guilty for it. And baby step it. Like, baby step the guilt, right? Like, I understand it can suck, especially if you got kids and you got family and you got all this stuff and you just want to go get your damn nails done. Like, I understand that feeling, but it makes you, there's a reason why they all say it makes you a better person, makes you a better significant other, parent, whatever. It's true. It does. You need to recharge your batteries. Something I do a lot that I definitely would tell you to do, just for like navigating your everyday. Capitalize on your energy to do your tasks. And what I mean by that is like trash. If you have compost, I do, compost. Cleaning your house or cleaning your bathrooms, anything you don't like to do, get it done while you have a boost of energy so it's done. And then you're just proud, you know what I mean? You just got it done. Because if you ever, and I feel like this takes some time to figure out, like when you're sitting there working and suddenly you just got this little like urge to do something, do it, get up and do it. Especially right now, if you're working from home, do it. I'll notice that I'll be like working and after however much time, I'm like, I need to move. So I'll get up and I'll be like, you know what? Just get it done. And I'll take the trash out or take the compost out or go do whatever. And it's just done. It's one thing off my list. Or I'll structure my day in a way where like laundry takes an hour. Okay, so start laundry, then do this, then circle back, change it out, then do this, da 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 da. And that way you're not just like going hard the whole time. You've got your activities and then you've got your respites. And not every day has to be the same. Obviously, I feel like that needs to go without saying, but just in case you need to hear it, not every day needs to be the same. Routines are great, but flexibility is super important. This is a potentially weird piece of advice, but I think it's important. Do something cleaning related daily and on your body clock. So what I mean by that, for dishes, for just everybody has dishes. Start your dishwasher after dinner so everything is wrapped up before bed. And then clean your counters or whatever, whenever, just so you feel like you're on top of things. So something I notice I do a lot is I'll run the dishwasher as I'm going to bed. And then I get up. I usually get up before anybody else does. Not by like a lot, just by like 10-15 minutes. But it gives me time to like make the coffee and unload the dishwasher. And like usually light the candles. And that's enough to feel just a little bit ahead of the game. So, and what I mean by on your body clock is if you're super tired, like come 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, like depending on your day, whatever time of day it is, it doesn't matter. What's the phrase I said the other day? Don't save all your Cinderella time for when you're exhausted. You know, capitalize on those spurts of energy. So do it on your body clock. But doing little bits of cleaning every day, it doesn't have to be a ton, but just a little bit. It saves you from having to dedicate an entire half a day or whatever to cleaning. Then you don't dread that whole day because you like, you know, let it get that bad. And also just that feeling of like, oh my God, I let it get that bad. Sometimes depending on who you are, that's not a good place to be. I mean, honestly, just I think to myself, if I can just get these 5 things done today. But then I look around and I'm like, that's all done. You know, I don't have like laundry all over the floor. I don't have this, I don't have that. Everything's okay. And I'm telling you, honest to God, taking your trash out, like depending on who you are and like how hard that is, sometimes that can be like all you need to do. You just feel like real good about that. Something else that I think is super important that I have not heard often, and that's not saying it hasn't been said, I just haven't heard it. Notice things that bother you, give that value, and then pivot intentionally. So what I mean by that is if something annoys you or impacts your day negatively or can alter your mood, I don't know what your life is like, so whatever version of negative impact, if something is bothering you, assign that a value. And don't bullshit yourself on this. Like, assign that a value that you actually will pay attention to, and then pivot intentionally. So I know I just repeated myself, but like, so to give you a personal example, without giving you specific information, because I'm not allowed to, there is a relatively reoccurring issue in my life that I have no control over, and it totally impacts my life. So whenever I'm having a day where it's really reared its head, I just, okay, you know, this is what this is. I can't control it, even though I have to deal with the consequences of something I can't control. However, what I can control is the rest of my day and how much time I spend on this, and what I can do to shift my energy and my overall mental health because of it. So for example, say something occurred, worst case scenario, say something's occurred all day long, you know, to the point where you're just like, I lost an entire day on this. You have it. Don't go to bed yet. Tiny things. And I mean this sincerely, I've done this a lot. Whiten your teeth. Self-tan, take a bath, read, go somewhere quiet and listen to what you want to listen to, or don't listen to anything, or whatever it is that you need to do. Garden, I don't even know, like whatever makes you happy. Do that before you end your day. Pivot intentionally. And I like, it's the easiest way I can put it is, if something is taking away from you and something's like depleting your, almost like an account balance, if something's depleting your balance, do something that puts it back up a little bit. It doesn't have to go all the way back up, but it just needs to, you need to look after yourself. So just do something that helps you not feel like you threw a whole day away, or not feel like you don't have any control over anything. And I feel like there's 75 million examples of everybody's lives where this is a reality. But I think it's so easy to view time in like a disposable kind of way, where it's like, oh, it's fine, I just like threw this day away. And it doesn't have to be anything huge, but it needs to be something kind of selfish, where it's like, I just need this, and do it. And don't feel bad about it, because ultimately that's your day. Prioritize calming activities. I know that sounds so silly and like, duh, but like, do it. For me, reading, having my tea, especially this time of the year, having my tea is really like, I feel so good having had like at least a pot of tea a day. It like really does help. I'll watch YouTube while brainstorming and data dumping. If you're new to my channel, I work from home. I do, I'm a skincare makeup education professional. So basically I'm a coach. It's not an MLM. That's why I hate saying coach, because I feel like it's like been taken away. But I do one-on-one like virtual coaching and consultations with clients. So it's anything from like, I need all new skincare, I need makeup, I need whatever. And so I do like huge research, like benders basically. And you know, I'll compile, especially like repeat clients, I'll compile like an ongoing list of, okay, here's what we've tried, here's what, you know, she said she didn't like, or she's had bad experiences with in the past, so we want to avoid this ingredient altogether. So all of that brainstorming, all of that data dumping, my content, all of that stuff, like all of that stuff takes a lot of time. And I tend to like having a little bit of something on in the background, because I find that it helps my wheels turn. You know, it can't be anything that really requires my attention, but just something to kind of keep my head talking, if that makes sense. To me it does. But yeah, that's something important. But also just like, I've noticed I really like to read at night. So something I'm really trying to do is, I don't want to be on my phone. I'll set my alarm and I'll turn my phone like this, and I turn the volume all the way up so I actually hear my alarm. And then I read, and I try not to look at my phone. I'm not perfect, I do, but like I try not to at this. And then when I'm okay, I want to go to bed, I close my eyes and I am determined to go to sleep. And sometimes I need to get one of those sleeping masks. It's on my Christmas list. I need one of those because Jeremy's on his computer and the damn glare or the TV or whatever. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think just prioritizing those calming activities to where they have value to you and you're going to get them done because you understand what an impact they have on your day and an overall like positive influence they are in you. Piggybacking off of that, winding down. If you've capitalized on your energy spurts and you stayed on top of everything, you've done your mindful and your calming activities, winding down feels right and purposeful. It is amazing. So whatever your life looks like, whether it's turning off all the lights, putting everything back in its place, just taking a bath, putting slippers on, I don't know, it could be whatever it needs to be to you. But that, if you have, I feel like if you've used your time well, and that does not mean getting 7 million things done in one day and you're exhausted, but just feeling good about how you spent your day. When you wind down, it should feel perfect. It should feel like, God, I am happy with how I spent my day. And it could be an entire self-care day. You could have just gone and got your hair done and then got your nails done. If you're me, I went and got my hair done and then I, had some dinner and maybe had some tea and maybe took a bath, maybe didn't take a bath, maybe I self-tanned, maybe I didn't, I like that. I just feel like it's nice. If you have spent the day the way you wanted to spend it and you're happy with it, when you wind down at night, it's awesome. Something else, and this is, I feel like all of this, I think I need to say this again just in case it's not clear to you. Modify to suit you. But one I've got on my list is tick things off your list. So I am a pen to paper kind of person. I need to write it down. I need to cross it off. I color code my life. So I've got 3 huge priorities in my life. I have household, I have self, and I have work. So my household is blue, self is pink, work is yellow. And I literally, every single thing on my to-do list is highlighted a color. So then I know today is super work heavy. Tomorrow is super household heavy. I've got 3 days where I've got a ton of household stuff. Why? Oh, because I've got family coming in and I'm trying to get ahead of the game. Or I've got a ton of work, so I'm gonna need to catch up on household stuff. I've got a ton of work, so I need to make sure I have self-care in there. Is there anything else I can maybe fit in to make sure I'm okay, to where I'm taken care of, so I can be the best I can be? Stuff like that. And then check things off your list. So something I heard recently that really pissed me off was someone said, oh God, it was like I'm gonna paraphrase the hell out of this, but it was like something along the lines of don't bullshit yourself. And it was like, if it's a non-negotiable, don't put it on your list. If it's like if it's like a given, don't put it on your list. And I'm like so totally opposed to that concept. I think if it's a non-negotiable, you absolutely put that shit on your list because you're gonna get it done that day. And some days you need to get on the board. Some days you just need to get on the board. It gets you on the board. The first like 5 things in my day are non-negotiables. Coffee and vitamins, weigh in, Adelaide's eyes. She has these eye drops I have to do every day. Garden and candles, because aforementioned environmental stuff. And then currently, because of Rona, we always have treats outside for the delivery folks. So I always bring them in I always put them out in the morning and I bring them in at night. So I put that on my list, in and out. And that's 2 things on my to-do list that take 10 seconds to do. But you know what? I feel good. And I feel like I've taken care of somebody. It's nice to see, today's shit outside. It's terrible weather outside. And I live in Austin, Texas. We don't have crappy weather. It's gloomy, it's rainy, so it was so nice. I was on the Peloton and I saw somebody drop something off on our front step and I have this little laminated sign that says thank you. I'm pretty proud of that. And then I have it taped to our little sill that I look out of. And I have our champagne bucket that is full of like protein bars and candy bars and Hostess cakes and Fiji water. And I stock it when it's low, and I always make sure there's stuff in it, but I saw the person take it, and it makes me feel good to know that, you know what, even if it's a bottle of water and a candy bar, maybe that person just really needed a bottle of water and a candy bar. And something that motivates me a lot is knowing that I've been a positive influence on somebody else. And I think a lot about, everybody's heard of the brand 7th Generation. What I think is so interesting about that brand is their name. So they're talking about the consequences for 7 generations to come. So is what I'm doing right now going to have a positive influence on the next 7 generations? And to make that like micro specific to yourself, is there something that I can do to where everybody around me is positively influenced and can be a better version of themselves? And then in doing so, what do I need to do to take care of myself so I can continue to be that way? I think a lot about the word nourishment. I don't know why that's the word that comes to my mind, but it is. And I think about whether it's food, whether it's content consumption, whether it's, you know, relationships, whatever you're consuming needs to nourish you. So if it's food, are you eating a lot of sugar? Because it's okay to have a day, but if you're not eating enough, like, you know, micronutrients, you're gonna feel like shit. And then you're gonna be grumpy. And then you're gonna fall off the wagon in other ways. And it's this domino effect that happens way faster than you think it will. If you're consuming nothing but diet culture, are you vilifying a vegetable? For real, like, are you? Because there is so much. I just edited my, who I'm following on Instagram, and I cut out like a ton of diet and fitness ones that I didn't even realize were bad. But I was looking at them and it was like one of those things where it's like the same meal, but it's like gaining and losing. And I'm like, I don't fucking need that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that kind of fucking pressure. I think it's really negative. And I think it's so important to just pay attention to yourself. And so often we don't even know where to start with paying attention to ourselves. And like, you know what they say, listen to your body? If you have never listened to your body, that's really hard to do. So some days I don't know what I want, you know, and and then if you've gone a day not knowing what you want, you feel like a failure. Like, oh, why am I so late to this game? So I think a lot about just, do I feel nourished? Do I feel like, did I take care of myself today? Am I hydrated? Have I done something to make my brain feel okay? Did I learn anything? Did I unlearn anything? Oh my God, we don't talk enough about that. Did I do little things that made me happy? Did I have a moment today? Did I, you know, whatever it is, right? I mean, it could be, there's like limitless amount of things it could be for you. But do I feel nourished? Is such, for me, and I don't know about you, so twist this into whatever form it needs to be in for you, but is today a day where, you know what, I did good, I'm nourished? And it's taken me a long time, and I am nowhere near done, but it's taken me a long time to get to the point where it's not about a number on a scale. I mean, really brief story. My mom, I'm 35 years old, and my mom still asks me how much I weigh. So, but if you think about the fact that over the course of my life, my weight has been such a constantly talked about topic, not how I'm feeling, not, do you feel nourished? Do you have access? Like, how you doing? How are you doing? And I think a lot about, you know, trying to fix all of that in baby steps, because it's a lot to fix. You know, and some days you just need Oreos, and some days you just need a salad. And the rest of the days, you're just doing the best you can. But you should be kinder to yourself, and you should take stock a lot more often. And also, in case you haven't heard this from anybody else, when you take stock, be kind to yourself. If you are in a spot where you're like, I don't even know why this sucks, like, oh my God, my life sucks. I don't have any real friends. My relationship's terrible. I'm not happy with my job. I don't feel fulfilled in any capacity. How did I let myself get here? I'm a failure. No, you're not. You're not. You need to be kinder to yourself. We are in this culture of hustle, boss babe, know what you want, go after it. But we don't talk about as frequently not knowing what you want. And also, maybe you did know what you want and then you got it and you don't want it anymore. What about that? We don't talk about that. I spent 13 years in corporate America, no desire to go back. None. And I think about, like, I have a weird ass resume because I've had 2 completely different careers my entire adult life. So I've spent 17, how old am I? 17, I spent 17 years in the beauty industry, and I've spent 13 in corporate America. So you think about, is this marketable, are these marketable skills? Is this whatever is trendy on LinkedIn, or I don't even know. And you're like, you're focused on the wrong stuff. I mean, you just are. You need to think more about, am I happy? Do I love my job? Do I love what I spend my time doing? If you're a stay-at-home mom, do you love that you stay at home with your kids? You don't have to love it every single day, but are you really happy you're doing it? Because if you're one of those people that thinks I'm never gonna get this time back, you could be totally right. And it really boils down to, are you happy with where your time goes? Are you happy with the relationships you have? I'm reading this book right now that I'm obsessed with. I'm like 75 pages into this 320 page book, and I'm obsessed with it. I'll talk about it in this week's vlog, but she makes this point about your like principles in your life. And one of them is, I want to be a good friend. You know, I want to be known for being a good friend. And she's like, and the indicator of being a good friend isn't, did so-and-so include me in her bridal party? Or, you know, anything like that. It has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with, am I proud of how I am in this role? Am I proud to be who I am? Am I happy with that? And like, dude, we don't talk enough about that. So if you are in a spot where you're like, I just, you know, I feel like I give and give and give and nobody ever gives it back, that's okay. You're totally fair. Totally fair. I've been there. I'm not going to tell you not to keep giving. I'm going to tell you to give to yourself first. Because look, I am somebody who, I'm super sentimental. I'm very excited. I'm enthusiastic. I love being a good friend. But I also, I'm at a point in my life where like, I don't suffer fools well. So if you're gonna take advantage of it, I'm not gonna let you in very closely. You know what I mean? So those friends that I do let in closely, I'm the one that'll help you bear the body. But I'm also self-sufficient and independent, and I'm not somebody who needs my best friend to go clothing shopping with me. And I'm not somebody who needs, you know, I don't need to hang out 4 times a week. I don't need to go to the bar. I don't need to do anything like that. You don't need to be everything to somebody. I know that this video is kind of all over the place. I know it's pretty like broad in topic and in, you know, relative tips and advice, but I think it's something that, you know, for me, really matters to me and is very significant. And I find myself having these conversations with my clients all the time because it's always, well, I never learned this, or I've always been too busy, or, you know, whatever. And it's so true though, is we just don't talk enough about there's just like a ton of stuff we don't talk enough about. And I'm just hoping that, you know, even if not one of these pieces of advice are, you know, you're gonna take, that's fine. But if it gets your wheels turning, or if at least gets you to kind of assess a little bit on, am I letting too much negativity in? Could I be kinder to myself? How can I take better care of myself? What does taking better care of myself actually look like? Like, what can I do to where I actually notice a benefit? Because not everybody has to do the same stuff, right? And yeah, like my hope is that at least it imparts a little bit of self-awareness and a little bit of time that you'll take to just take stock, to where you edit your life maybe super minimally, but hopefully those minimal changes yield a much more positive life. Or maybe you just maybe you're having a rough day and you just needed to know you're gonna be fine. Because you're gonna be fine, I promise you, you'll be fine. Everybody has those days, and my God, last week I had a grueling week. So this week for me is a lot of self-love. It's a lot of self-care. It's a lot of making sure I'm okay. And I'm telling you, I'm 2 days in and I feel so much better. 2.5 days in now, I feel so much better, so much better. And it really is just like the little things, just those little tiny things. If you like this video, let me know. If you want me to talk more about this, I'm happy to. I think there's a time and a place for the needle moving activities, but I also think we need to definitely raise the priority level of the little things that do the most good, you know? And I think I think for me, a lot of this is a consequence of just being exposed to so much like toxic positivity and, you know, all that shit with like the boss babe mentality and like, you know, oh God, it drives me nuts. But yeah, so hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you got some sort of a benefit out of it. I really hope so. Let me know below if you are interested in more videos about this. I'm happy to film them. And obviously, you know, document my own journey on it, right? Because we're all human. We're all just doing the best we can. I have so many thoughts on this stuff. Anyway, so yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all very soon. Have a great day. Bye.